How we doing, Howard? Riley is doing really good. Just hanging out, getting ready for the call. I'm excited we got. So you, Coach Kern's going good. How's everything going fitness-wise? Any questions for me? Yeah, and that's what I kind of hit on in terms of like the voice note check-ins, like especially when eating out, even just a little bit, because if each meal you miss it by like 200, 250, that's 750 a day, and let's say somebody was at maintenance, right, and they were 750 over per day just because of tracking. Over the course of a week, that's like 1.5 pounds. Over the course of a month, that's like 5 extra pounds, and that's just straight body fat. So that's why I always say, like, when they did studies, and they've even found that when they actually monitored how many calories people thought they were tracking, especially people who never tracked before, it was up to like 50% variance. So it's like I'm always like, however accurate you think it is, like the best way. It's so tedious. I don't like recommend it to everyone, but the way I do is I weigh everything out. Like I just put my plate on my food scale, and I weigh everything out. Like when I eat chicken, I just weigh it, and I know it's like grams, and it's like so accurate. And to me, I like it too, because it allows me just like the peace of mind knowing like I'm good. And a lot of times, sometimes for me, I actually end up eating less than I track. But when going to restaurants, it's always more. It's always more. Yeah, sounds good. Abai, is that you in here? Doing really good, man. How about yourself? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I would say definitely with the straight legs are definitely good. I don't know, is there an option inside your app to substitute at all? Because I don't know if I can put that option in. But yeah, when it comes to the workouts, would you rather me change it to something like a dumbbell that you can do every time, or would you I can change it by case if you'd like? Okay, so I'll change it to more like dumbbell body weight stuff, and then obviously if you got the machine, then the machine will. Okay. Yes, sir. Of course. Anything else? Yeah, dude. I gotta probably rip these out at the end of the week with a little. Oh yeah, Drew. That was Drew. Drew. No, dude. No, that's Drew. He's a client. He fell off a roof. He was at a party, and I was like, dude, like, what the heck? Yeah, that's what they said. I was like, that's hanging out on a roof and doing that doesn't exactly mix. Yeah. So that's why I took him my card. I was like, feel better, man. Get that arm going. But cool, man. Yeah, I will put in dumbbells, body weight. I'll change that inside your program. Good there. Is there any questions that you have in terms of like stuff I talk about on the call at all? I got a couple things. I didn't know if there's anything you wanted to hear about. Okay, cool. And I'm going to make a little note here I need to get you in the Discord. I'll try to figure that out with you. Yeah. That's so weird. Yeah, maybe you might have to maybe do it like on a browser and make like a new account or something, which is annoying, but that might be the only way. Yeah, because you can get a desktop app on laptop usually. Awesome. Okay, cool. No worries, man. Cool. Well, I don't know if there's anybody else coming. Let me see if anybody else is coming. If not, I have some topics that other people wanted. Is there any topics in particular? I'm gonna chat about metabolism. I'm gonna do a little segment on like the most I know Eric's coming. He should. Oh yeah, Eric's here. What's up, Eric? Doing really good. Good. I got you. I'm gonna definitely hit on eating out. Definitely gonna be a good one. Like eating out, travel, those type of things. Super good there. And I'll walk you through like the way I do it, but also like inside meals, how to just like order like food that's like never gonna go wrong. Is there anything else anybody would want to hear topic wise? I got metabolism, eating out, like the most filling foods you can eat. Is there anything else in terms of anything like that? I know I definitely want to hit on like other client success, and Aiden is a huge one. Like I'll walk you through some stuff Aiden does that's super helpful. That allows him. He's been doing super well. Is there anything else anybody want to hear in terms of topics at all? I can get rolling here in a second, but I just didn't know if there's anything anybody wanted to hear like in particular. Okay, well, what I'll go ahead and do is I'm going to go see if there's any other check-in forms that people submitted they want answered. Okay, is there anything program-wise or any questions anybody had about anything fitness program-wise in terms of like trainer-wise or anything like that? If not, I can go ahead and get started in terms of some of that. If there's no questions at all. No worries if not. I mean, I just didn't make sure. What do you guys think? I mean, have you guys liked having the school? Like, I know the school is like it's kind of just like where I put all my resources. Is there anything you guys would want to see in there? I kind of hit a lot of it, like the eating out and stuff like that. Is there anything like in there? There's eating out guides, there's travel guides, there's sleep guides, there's other things like that. Is there anything? I did add in there. What I will say, I did add as well. My course, so like I have a free course that I have. It's basically just talks about the structure of the CEO Shred program, which is like the 2 days a week, the eating styles. That's all in course format that I put in there. So you guys can check that out if you wanted to like understand the structure of how I do the 2 days, the 60 minutes a week, and not needing a diet. That's in there if you guys want to do that. But I didn't know if there's anything you guys would want to see in terms of the school at all. If not, I'll get started. Okay, cool. So first thing I'll talk about is we'll talk about eating out. We'll talk about some of the little stuff first, and then I'll end talking about metabolism because that's a really good one. So first thing with eating out, like some things when it comes to eating out, the best thing I always find is, number one, anywhere that has the food inside the tracking app is great. Like places like Chipotle, and anywhere where you understand what's going in. Even like Texas Roadhouse has the calories on there, and a lot of times like chains have their foods inside we have the USDA, we have the food department and the FDA. I'm pretty sure, no, not FDA, the USDA food department, whoever does the nutritional labels. Like if you're gonna sell and package your food as a distributor, then you're gonna have to register with them, and in a lot of the apps like Fat Secret, Trainerize, all those foods are housed in those apps because they're all part of the database of like the nutritional labels. So anywhere that's like a bigger place will usually have their foods inside the Trainer Eyes and in the Fat Secret. So anywhere that has the food that you know you can track is definitely going to be a huge one. Like for me, I know with Chipotle, something great about Chipotle is in my Fat Secret or in my food tracking app, and you can do this in Trainer Eyes, is you can save a meal. So like my Chipotle order, I saved it. Whatever my order is, maybe at Subway, you can just like build it one time and save your Subway order, and that way you know super accurately every time. Things to maybe understand as well when eating out is every time you eat out, the goal of a place in a restaurant is not to be like the most fit, healthy food. It's like to taste the best. So even if it is like a healthy restaurant, sometimes like portions, it's like, it's not going to be as accurate as if you like weigh it out to the gram yourself, but it's pretty accurate. So it can be within 100, 200 calories. But with like traveling and restaurants, that's what I'll get on, because a lot of times like Chipotle, that stuff's easy to track. That's almost like day-to-day stuff. But dinners, my hack. So I just went to Capitol Grill the other day, and I just kind of walked through the hack that I did. So I follow the same structure, like trying to have majority protein during the day, or keeping it light during the day, or not eating, during the day, and saving up, just like, with like budgeting or financing, it's you're saving up to then like to spend it. So the same way that you save up and you spend money on something, same thing with my calories is I'll save up. So if I know that I'm going to have a great big dinner, then what I'll usually do is I'll have just like my meat before dinner. So like I'll have, here's like what I usually do is I will try to put off my first meal usually as long as possible. So like today I woke up at 7. Say I was going to eat out at 7 p.m. tonight, I'll try to put my first meal off until like 2 or 3. So even if I'm going to eat out at like 6 or 7, at like 2 or 3, I'll have, maybe a pound of 93.7 ground beef, like a pound of meat. Or I'll have, some chicken, or I'll have like beef jerky, or I'll have Greek yogurt and fruit, like something really filling and voluminous, maybe even a couple hours out of dinner as my first meal. So I'll go until I really just want something to eat, and then I'll have something filling. So whatever that is, that it's your food, and that's why I'll get into satiating food. Maybe it's something, usually I'll just stick to the protein, because again, it's protein calories. So I usually just try to knock out 100 grams of protein, which of lean meat, 100 grams of protein is a pound of lean meat. So if it's like ground turkey, sliced chicken, deli meat, 93.7 ground beef, 96.4 ground beef, maybe I'll have like a lean cut of steak or something, but usually if I'm going to dinner, I'm going to get steak or something like that. So I'll knock out protein, maybe a couple hours out of dinner. That way when I go to dinner, I'm not like completely ravenous and like eating everything. I'm not that hungry, but I'm able to go and actually enjoy the dinner. So like that's a good mental switch. Is like a lot of times when we're going out to eat, out to dinner and traveling, we're out to travel to enjoy like social experience and enjoy the food. So for me, as someone who's super health conscious, I'll try to hit my nutrition stuff early in the day, so when I eat, I can actually just get what I want and enjoy it. So I'll maybe hit my protein. Usually I'll have meat for dinner because I enjoy steak and things like that. So I will hit my protein just with steak, and then everything else I want is anything I want. Or maybe I'll eat 20 ounces of chicken throughout the day, or I'll just hit all my protein throughout the day. I'll go to dinner. If it's like Italian, I'll enjoy the pasta. I'll get a bowl of pasta. I'll get, a salad or whatever it is that I want, at dinner, and then I'll have bread or whatever it is, and I'll be able to just actually enjoy it. So that's kind of the structure in terms of what I'll do when it comes to eating out. But if, say, I eat out all the time, then the structure itself would be when I eat out, it needs to be conducive to my fitness goals. So again, it's going to follow the same principles of like, hey, protein, calories. So an example of what I did at Capitol Grill is I got a beet salad, which I just wanted, because to me, I got protein earlier in the day, and then for my entree, I just got a steak. And then the rest of my calories, whatever I wanted. So I had at Capitol Grill, they had like all this bread. So I got 2 baskets of bread, a 12-ounce ribeye, and I got a salad, and then I had 2 glasses of wine. So I was like, okay, my protein during the day was just my chicken earlier and my steak. So the rest I had like, and I hit my steps already. So I had like 1,800 calories. I had, 2 things of bread and I had 1,800 calories after my entrees. So I had, 2 things of bread, I had a salad, I had wine, and when I went home, I had calories left over. I had a pint of Ninja Creamy ice cream. So for me, in terms of what I'm eating, it's still gonna follow the same principle of like lean protein and calories. But if you're gonna eat out most of the time, the best things are gonna be things like steak, because like, okay, 12-ounce ribeye. Okay, 12-ounce ribeye. And if I say, hey, 12-ounce ribeye, put the butter on the side, or don't put it with the butter, and then I'll have that steak and it'll be good. And I know it's gonna be good because it's if you don't necessarily probably even need the butter a lot of times because the steak is cooked, really well at a restaurant. But in terms of maybe going to somewhere like Longhorn, what I'll eat is gonna be, meat and vegetables usually. If I like need to eat out and it needs to be healthy, what I'll do is I'll have, meat, so it'll be chicken, fish. Fish is always gonna be a super good option because it's so lean. If you get fish without butter, like salmon or sea bass or whatever it is, that's always good. Steak is always great, like New York strip, filet, always super low calorie. Even at any restaurant, like if you get a filet, it's gonna be like 300, 400. It's super lean and it's super good. So New York strip, filet are really good. Any type of like flank steak's good, but usually it's like New York strip, ribeye, filet. So I always say New York strip, filet are like the go-tos. I like those the best because ribeye is like a lot of times you actually get more meat with the New York strip. And also too, like if you get a bone in, be cognizant that probably like 4 or 5 ounces of that are the bone. So it's like if you track it, you can know with like a New York strip that that's 12 ounces of steak, eat the whole thing. There's not really any fat left over. So you actually get to eat the whole thing and that's how much it is versus like a ribeye, you cut some off, you have the bone. But in terms of like what I eat, if it needs to be a healthy meal, it'll be probably, I'll order a side of meat and then I'll just order like a bunch of steamed vegetables is what I'll usually do. If it's not like a fancy night out or like traveling or anything, if it's just like I'm eating out, I want to eat healthy, it'd usually be like meat and sides of steamed vegetables. So it's like, don't get the sauces, don't get the butters, and have, meat with a side of vegetables, and I'll be like, I don't want bread. But if I do want to actually enjoy the meal, I'll understand, hey, it's a social thing, and like I want to enjoy the meal, so I'll make sure that like fitness-wise, nutritionally, I fit my protein, and I've like ate pretty good throughout the day, and then when I go, I'm like, I know I have all this saved up, and there's like no worries at all if I want to have alcohol or bread or dessert or whatever it is, and I can do that. And what I'll even sometimes say is that you can choose. So it's like I could have an entree with, and sometimes, even if you have a lot saved up, it's really easy to go super over at a restaurant. Like if you get, Alfredo pasta and then a bunch of wine and then a bunch of bread and then you get dessert, it's really hard to stay under with that. So I always say like pick and choose maybe what things you want to have. So like maybe it's I'm going to keep my entree meat, but then I'm going to have a dessert and I'm going to have some bread, or I'm going to have just the dessert and I'm going to have a dessert that I really want and I'm not going to do the alcohol and I'm not going to do the bread. So it's like usually you can pick and choose the aspects of, restaurants usually going to be like the places where people fall off is dessert, alcohol, bread, and like, sauces, spreads, pastas, things like that. So I always say if you can minimize the sauces, the spreads, the alcohols, the breads, like then you can understand where they're coming from. So it's like you're never gonna go wrong at dinner eating lean meat and steamed vegetables. But where problems come is like the cheeses, the sauces. So being cognizant of those, and also just tracking it, you learn what's gonna put you way over. So I always say you can treat it like a puzzle piece. It's like, okay, well I have, the entree, and then I'll just have the bread and alcohol, or I'll do, instead of dessert, I'll do alcohol, and then I'll make dessert at home or something like that. Or you can just understand that, like, maybe tomorrow you'll get more steps in and just enjoy the meal. So it's really not it doesn't have to be as complicated sometimes. It can just be as easy as, hey, like I know tonight I'm gonna eat what I want, so I'm gonna make sure that like I just get a bunch of steps in today. Tomorrow I'm gonna make up for it. Or if you were like you had you knew that it was gonna be like you want to just have an insane dinner, you want to have an awesome time, not even worry about it. You could eat less throughout the week, so it's like saving up, right? Again, so it's like let's say you eat 200 calories under your limit all week, right? 6 days that week, that's 1,200 calories. And then you have your daily calories. Like say for me, like if I eat 200 calories under my maintenance and then I get to my day, usually I have about 2,200, 2,400 per day with like my movement and everything. So if I add that on top, I'll have 3,600 calories that day because I've saved them up. And let's say I hit 14,000 steps, I'll have like 3,800 calories. And if I eat a pound of meat at 3 p.m., then that's 3,200 calories after that pound of meat. And then at dinner, I'll have like maybe a steak. I'm gonna have 3,000 calories just in bread, alcohol, desserts. So that's you can have everything, right? And maybe instead of if I hit my protein earlier, I'll have 3,000 calories for dinner. I can get pasta, bread, dessert, right? So it's like I can save up and choose, and it doesn't have to be something that's hard at all. And that's the thing too. I'm not like, again, with the calories and protein, I'm like, just don't even worry about like eating a crazy big breakfast. Like if you know you have a nice dinner, again, do like a light breakfast or like no breakfast. Hit the protein, just keep it super lean, hit the protein, and then maybe hit that protein, push the meal off until you're super hungry, then hit the protein with meat filling foods. Then by the time you go to dinner, you're not super ravenous and starving and wanting to eat everything. When the bread comes out, eat all the bread. Like you're like, okay, well, I'm not like, I don't really like need food. Like I'm good, I could eat. But then you actually can like enjoy the food as opposed to trying to like satisfy your hunger is like a good thing. So it's like maybe even you eat your protein and then maybe before you leave you eat protein. Like maybe before dinner you eat again. Right, and that's I don't think it's crazy because to me I'm like I'm going to dinner for like a social gathering and I'm going to enjoy it with people. So I don't necessarily need to go to dinner to satisfy my hunger because a lot of times if you're going out to like a nice dinner or you're traveling, you're traveling and enjoying the experience. So like I'm gonna eat my healthy food. I'm gonna eat chicken and meat and I'm gonna hit my protein. And then maybe I'll eat protein at 3, and maybe if I have dinner at 7, I'll eat protein at 6. Maybe I'll literally eat right before I go. And then I'll get to dinner, I'm not hungry at all, and I can just, instead of having to like, oh, I hit steak to hit my bread, I'll just eat what I want. I'll just have whatever, I'll have my bread, and I'm like not wanting the food. I'm just like, I want it because I just want to enjoy it and like enjoy the experience. So that is like my tips on eating out. Does that make sense to everyone? Is that making sense? Is that helpful? Are you good? Yeah, Chipotle, Subway, any place like Chipotle, like a bowl style place is great because you get to choose and pick and know. Any place like Texas Roadhouse with has like chicken, like super, any place like not like expensive, but like Longhorn, Texas Roadhouse, places like that, always super good because it's just like affordable, it's cheap, and you can get quality meat. And also a big thing too, yeah, grocery stores are awesome. Like if there's a Whole Foods, there's somewhere with a salad bar. Anywhere with a salad bar is always exceptional. Like a Whole Foods, most grocery stores have salad bar, and then grocery store too. Egg-wise, all grocery stores have boiled eggs. So it's like boiled eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese. You get the single serving protein yogurts. You could do, fruit, all that stuff. If you are really like, I need to go out to get food, but it needs to be healthy, grocery store is always the way. Like anywhere where like a Whole Foods or a Kroger usually has a salad bar. It has a deli. I mean, you could get deli meat. Grocery stores are my go-to when traveling. Is I go to a grocery store, especially if you're like actually traveling, like you go to Europe or you go somewhere, like there's the grocery stores there, like the farmers markets are incredible. So yeah, places like that are always super good, but grocery stores are the number one. If there's a Whole Foods or somewhere like a Whole Foods or like a grocery store, salad bars at the grocery store are always a go-to. Yeah, so that's kind of like super good strategy. Places like Chipotle, the bowl style places are always incredible. Does that make sense? Whole Foods is awesome. I think it's $7 a pound, so you can get like a pound of food no matter what it is. It's super good. I had one in Arizona. It was awesome. I would eat there every day if I had one. Yeah, they're great. What were you gonna say? Bye. Completely. Yeah, grocery stores are awesome. Yeah, and they always have, especially if a hotel, they have a little fridge. Like anything that you can just put in the fridge is awesome. Um, Yeah, yeah, especially yeah, being vegan, like unless you're in like a big city where they can cater to that audience, difficult. So yeah, grocery stores are awesome. Yeah, in terms of like eating healthy when it's not like I'm eating out for fun. But yeah, grocery stores are my number one, and then just anywhere where you know you can track the food and you know they're gonna have protein, protein mainly, and then healthy protein and filling food. So it's going to be like salads, salad bars, Chipotle style places. There's one called mixed. It's like a Chipotle style, but it's salads. Awesome. And usually any cities will have like healthy style stuff like that. But super good. Good, man. Yeah. Just there's always places to eat healthy foods, especially if you have a grocery store, you can eat exactly on I guess on diet or just eating healthy. Okay, cool. Awesome. So I will get into eating out. Let's get into. We'll end with other people's with like eating success, getting out. I'm gonna hit on metabolism. So metabolism, this is a good one. So I actually made a YouTube video on this the other day, and when we think of metabolism, this is like super, not like I don't know the word for it, but it's a super big thing. A lot of times in fitness, it's like my metabolism, this, that, and I kind of was the same way. I was like, oh, metabolism and like metabolic stuff and all this. And I really looked into it. And then I'm sitting in class or whatever. And when you actually look at the definition of metabolism, all metabolism is just like the sum, right? So like the outcome of just your body's ability to intake food, right? So metabolism is just like what happens when you eat food. It's burning fat, right? So it's like when you eat food, what happens, right? You're going to build muscle because you worked out. Or you're going to store it as fat, or you're going to use it for the energy, and then you're not going to need any more, meaning you're going to maintain where you're at. So all metabolism is just what your body does with food. It's the sum of your body's reactions of food. And you can get super complex, like enzymes and all this, but when you think of metabolism and actual, like, okay, what affects your metabolism? All metabolism really is, if we think about it from application as opposed to theory, it's just like how many calories you're burning, right? Because it's, again, metabolism is calories in, calories out. Like metabolism is calories in, calories out, and you can get more specific, like protein and stuff, but metabolism itself is the sum of of what happens when you eat food. So if we think of what affects metabolism the most, it's going to be things that affect burning calories and storing calories. So it's going to literally come down to it in terms of where are the places you burn the most calories, and then again, anything that affects metabolism is not going to be like the biggest drivers. Like if we think of actual metabolism, it's literally just like where we burn calories. So if we think of, let's say metabolism is 100%, because our metabolism, as referred to most of the time, is just our calorie burning expenditure. It is how many calories we're burning, because we always understand like intaking calories, but metabolism itself is what happens with those calories. So metabolism is the combination of calories and the processes that affect building and breaking down, aka gaining and adding muscle and fat, and burning muscle and fat. So those processes are metabolism. So if we look at what actually is going to affect that, in terms of calories, 70% of your metabolism every day is your body weight. And this is a crazy stat that's actually like, it's almost like counterintuitive. 70% of your daily calories are just your body's BMR. So if I take my body weight times 10, so I'm 160 times 10, 1600 is how many calories I burn every day if I didn't move. So every day I'm burning that much, and there's nothing that can alter that. Like, yes, in terms of fat burning ability, having more muscle or might affect like body composition, but in terms of how many calories I burn, your weight times 10 is how many calories you burn. Whether that weight's muscle or fat, to maintain that weight, you need X amount of calories without movement. So once you add in movement, in terms of how many calories you burn every day, it's like your daily, just how much your body burns just being your body, aka your body weight times 10. And then your physical activity, so it's going to add more, so how much you move per day. And then there's like little tiny things like how much the food you eat affects it. So things like eating more protein, it's harder to digest, so it actually burns a little bit of calories. You actually burn a little bit of calories eating protein, but you still, it's never going to be more than the actual calories of the protein itself. So what you eat can affect also how many calories you burn as well. If you're eating strictly protein and vegetables, you're going to burn a little bit more, but it's so negligible, it's not really a factor. So when you think of how can you actually raise your metabolism in terms of slow metabolism, the crazy thing about this is if you are heavier, you have a faster metabolism. If you're super overweight, you have a faster metabolism, because if we think back to that, our BMR, right, it's called basal metabolic rate, the rate of our body's metabolism is a base, like basal, the base of our metabolism, the rate of our base metabolism without movement is more, because it's by our body weight. So if someone's like, my metabolism's slow, that's like for somebody who's super underweight, their metabolism's slow. So if you're 300 pounds, then you have a faster metabolism than somebody who's not. So if we think my metabolism slow is the reason I can't lose weight, it's like that's why I'm gaining weight. It's actually you have more metabolism. Your metabolism is higher if you're overweight, because you need more calories. You require more. So when we think of things that actually affect metabolism, the biggest effects in terms of the ability to burn calories are have more muscle mass, because the calorie, that's going to be better, because in terms of body composition, the calories you are burning is going to attribute to fat loss more. So if you're eating protein, you have that muscle mass, like resistance training and things like that. But in terms of actual things like, oh, my metabolism's messed up, I'll get into like the actual outside percentage effects. But if we think about what metabolism is, the only things that affect metabolism are things that affect our body's ability to burn calories. So unless it's affecting your ability to burn calories, then it's not affecting your metabolism. So like anything that's not affecting your body's ability to and that's why like basal metabolic rate, that's why having more muscle mass, takes more calories to maintain, more quality of calories like protein and stuff. So that's why having more muscle mass, assuming weight is the same, can increase your metabolism, because it's like you need more calories to maintain that muscle. You have more processes going on. So the only way to increase your metabolism, if we think of things that affect metabolism, the thing I always say is weight has to be constant. In order to see a change in metabolism, weight must be constant. So if you want to say, I need to speed up my metabolism, then if you want to speed up your metabolism, gain 40 pounds. Then your metabolism's 400 calories per day higher. So if you actually want to think of things that percent affect ability of the body to burn calories, then we have to think weight as a constant. So that is like the frame, I guess. Weight has to be constant for us to actually observe metabolism effects. So when we think, and I'm going to go through just like things that a lot of times people think affect their metabolism. So if we actually look at it, when we look at daily body ability, it's like huge. So it's like 70%, and then it's like your body's ability to burn calories is like body weight times 10. And if we think of these things that affect it, maybe your metabolism effect is like your body weight times 9.8 in terms of how much it actually would affect the calories you're burning every day. So I'm going to go through, I have 8 of them. So I have 8 average, like, things that a lot of times people are like, oh, that's my metabolism. So the first one is age. So I'm getting older, my metabolism is slow. And this is a big one. So if we think of how much it actually affects it. So it's about, per decade after 30, is about 2%. So 2% of your daily, and a lot of this is literally just BMR. So think of this in BMR, because no amount of age is going to affect your walking calories. So that's not going to affect anything. So really, this is just down to BMR. So a lot of times when we think of this is really just down to what things affect my body's base ability. Because there's nothing that can affect my ability to walk and move and burn calories. Yeah, intaking calories, percentages, things like that. Yeah, if you have a digestive issue, you're going to have a metabolism issue because you can't even absorb nutrients. So that's an issue. But in terms of a lot of these things that are like outside factors that affect my body's ability to burn calories, age is 2% every year, every decade after 30. So if you're 60, that's 3 decades. It's about maybe 5 to 6% in terms of BMR. So if we actually think about that, that's probably like maybe 100 to 200 calories max a day. So not like at the absolute upper end of it. So at the lower end, it's like you maintain your muscle mass and nothing changes. So if you build muscle, then you actually just like reverse that effect and it doesn't matter. So it cancels out. So if you have muscle mass, it cancels out. But even then, a lot of times, if you are heavier, then it just makes up for it because your body's already burning more just to maintain your weight. So assuming weight's the same, if every decade after 30, if you're losing muscle, it's usually because of losing muscle. So if you maintain the muscle, it's probably like 1%, like 3% total for 3 decades after 30. So that's like maybe 3% total. Genetics, yeah, so usually this is like super not a factor as well. It's usually like in terms of fast metabolism, it's usually just in terms of BMR. Again, it's probably like maybe 1% total. So maybe like 50, 100 calories, max per day. Next is like thyroid stuff. So like anything with like thyroid or ability in my body. If you truly have a thyroid problem, it can be like 10, 20%, but 9 out of 10 times it's not that. So if it's not actually you have thyroid issues that you must take medication for, if you take the medication, then it cancels it out, it doesn't matter. But if you genuinely have a thyroid problem and you're not taking your medication, like 10, 20%. So that's one. Next would be damaging metabolism and dieting. If you like don't eat for a while, like maybe, but again, a lot of this stuff is like, it's really not that big of a factor. It's like, if you return to maintenance and you have muscle mass, it's like your body weight. So that really isn't a thing usually. Like I've dieted and it messed up my metabolism, or my metabolism is messed up from X. If your body, unless your body is not burning calories, then your metabolism is good. And if you're X weight, it's like body weight times 10. So unless you have some, it's usually not really a factor at all. Next, this one says women have slow metabolisms. It's 0% there. It's like when adjusted for lean mass is 0%. Stress, if you have like super crazy high cortisol, maybe like 1%, but usually when it comes to cortisol, it's not the cortisol that affects your metabolism, it's stress eating. So it's like you have stress, and then because of that, you eat food, and then you eat too many calories. So that's where like metabolism in cortisol can happen, it's not because of the cortisol itself, right? That can affect your ability to gain muscle mass, but in terms of metabolism and burning calories, then it's the stress eating and like the stress that what you do because of it, which is like drink, eat, which then affects your fat burning ability. So that's usually that. Not sleeping, again, it's similar to the cortisol. So it's like the sleep is going to increase the cortisol or whatever it is, or the stress, and it's not the sleep that affects your metabolism. It's like, again, sleep, you don't sleep, it's like a couple percent. It's like the result of not sleeping, which is overeating and not getting your steps in and things like that. It's an indirect effect, okay? So let's say, and I will take all these factors, let's say it was like, we have age, so we have, let's say age, you know, let's say we take on the upper end 60, 70, that's like 4 or 5%, 6%, we'll say. We'll say 6%. Let's say you have horrible metabolism genetics, we'll give you another 3%, so like 10, 12%. And then let's say you actually, you I don't know, let's look through. I'm not even going to use the other dieting one. Yeah, so let's say you have crazy high stress as well, let's give another 2%. And then sleep is horrible, another 3%. So maybe 15% total. If you have every single factor that can affect metabolism, you get about 15%, and it's really only affecting your BMR. So if I take my BMR times 0.15, in total, I might have 240 calories that I'm not burning due to actual metabolism. So if I have every factor that could possibly improve me, if I was 70 and I had all those other factors, I would not burn 240 calories. So to me, that's like, that's like a candy bar. So it's really in terms, and that's just with BMR. So if I add on my steps, right, I'm still going to be like, instead of 2,400 per day that I have with my, where I am right now, maybe it'll be like 2,200 or something like that. And again, that's just burning calories. So no matter what, it's going to come down to what you're eating. So even it's like that's just how many calories you're burning. So if you just are eating X, then it's not going to affect it at all. Because it's like you still have to match it with the food you're eating. So everything that in terms of metabolism, the only factors the biggest factors are usually indirect. So it's like I didn't sleep and I overate. I'm stressed and I overate and I drink, and then that affects my sleep, and then that affects my fat burning and all that. So in terms of actually outside effects on ability of body to burn calories, at the absolute upper limit, it's about 15%. And a lot of times it's like, it's easy to say that, and I get it a lot, so it's like, I do get it. It's like, oh, metabolism, but if we actually look at it, it's like, okay, well, what about metabolism? Because metabolism is just burning calories and consuming calories. So what about that? It's like the actual factors that affect your body's ability to burn calories are pretty negligible. And it's going to just come down to, again, just total food. And then obviously factors like having more muscle mass is going to help. So like having more muscle mass, if I was in that situation where I had all those negative factors, if I didn't lose my muscle mass, which, yeah, as I get older, like for me, yeah, I might lose a little bit. But if you look at somebody like, just an example, political doesn't matter, like Robert Kennedy Jr., he's 70 and he's big, right? He's doing full pull-ups. He's 70 years old. So it's like someone like that, like his metabolism obviously isn't really affected. Like he looks great. Or I don't know another in shape. He's just like an example of someone who's really in shape of being older. I don't know, but he's 70. And he's in great shape. He's doing full pull-ups, doing handstands. Like he's in great shape. So it's really, age is really, and things like that are way less of a factor, and those type of things are way less of a factor than we think. Because it's easy to say that because it's like, oh, it's my metabolism. But it's reality is a lot of times it's just us not wanting to say, my fault that I did that. So that's kind of like the spiel on metabolism. And I know it's kind of a lot. It's a simple thing. It's like, your body burns X amount of calories no matter what you do. So it's like without movement, it's going to burn X amount. Metabolism stuff is really going to only affect your body's just like base burning rate. And anything that metabolism actually affects, you can make up for just getting more steps in. But then again, even if you do all that, that's just burning calories. You have to consume calories too. So the stuff you can do, eat lots of protein, have muscle mass resistance train, and eat quality food. And here's the thing. The effects of metabolism on body weight can actually be offset if you eat healthier food. because healthier food, protein, vegetables, like these healthier foods, they're harder to digest. So it takes your body more energy to do that. So it's like you can literally offset it just with eating healthy. So then again, it's like it nets. So it's really like, if we actually look at it, I've never met somebody, it's like if you were like eating perfectly, tracking everything you eat, working out, twice a week, resistance training, getting your steps in every single day, your diet was on check, it's like your metabolism wouldn't be anything. It wouldn't even be a question. And it's like, it would be like 50, again, that little amount. And visually, it wouldn't make a difference at all. It really wouldn't make a difference. It was like that, like maybe it's like in terms of, it's like, for that to even be noticeable, you'd have to be low body fat anyway. And your body weight would have to be constant to actually see that change. And it's like, there's nobody's metabolism that makes them overweight. It's like they're overweight because of indirect, life choices. Nobody is overweight because metabolism is just burning calories. So no matter what your metabolism is, if you eat less than you burn and you have protein resistance training, you're gonna lose body fat. Can't deny it. That's that. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Everyone knows a lot. I try not to get into the weeds with a lot of it, but does that make sense at a base level? Awesome. Yeah, of course. What else? So metabolism, that's like kind of that factors that can affect metabolism. What else do we have? We have filling food. So I'll get back into that. So that's a good kind of rant. Yeah, what's up? Yeah, you're good. There's no, because here's the thing, if you're, it's really even not because of like anything with metabolism usually, it's just like the calories in are just higher than the calories out, and it really is, it's like, because again, even if your metabolism was genuinely a factor, if we look at it from a base level, unless if you stopped eating food, period, your body can't take, unless your body has an inability to use the fat on your body and use it for energy when you don't have enough calories. Like if you just starved and you didn't eat for the next 365 days, like a year, unless your body would not lose weight, which is like literally that's never happened in the history of ever, all humans, unless you're incapable of starvation, which is fat loss, it's a controlled starvation, unless your body's incapable of that, then you can look how you want. Yeah, it might take you 10% more, but your body has the ability to do that. It's a percent effect. So a lot of times it's not binary. It's like how much is my ability to burn calories, and usually it's a percentage effect. So it's like I can't. There's nobody's inability to lose body fat, to lose weight because of metabolism. It's just the percentage effect you might have while losing weight. So it's like if two people lost 100 pounds, assuming everything was the same, maybe one person, that percent would lose 85 or 90. So it's just a percent effect. It has nothing to do with can or can't, because it's how much. The question needs to be flipped a lot of times. It's like it's not I can or can't because of, it's how much due to. But usually it's not even due to. It's just like it's the same. Because that's what I say. If I can't lose weight because of my metabolism, if you have more weight, then your metabolism is higher than somebody who has lost weight. So you actually decrease your metabolism when you lose weight. So yeah, that's the answer. It's like a lot of times the question's flawed because it's like, if you look at what is metabolism, well, it's just calories. Literally, metabolism is calories in, calories out. That's what it is. It's like if you look, it's like the sum of the body's processes of building and breaking down. So it's like, what happens when you eat food? You build stuff and you break down if you don't have the food, and that's it. It's really simple stuff. But then it comes down to application and theory. I could put all the knowledge on you guys of like the enzymes that break down food and convert, but it's just like metabolism is calories in, calories out. At the base level, that's what it is. But yeah, does that anybody else have any questions about like metabolism, stuff like that? Okay, no. I'll hit on some things that Aiden Christ does. He's a super successful. So Aiden is probably one of he's gotten some awesome results. So I'm gonna hit on a couple things that's like successful things other people do, or not even just Aiden, but like in general, because Aiden's just a good example. But the best things I've seen with my most successful people I've ever had, the most successful thing, the thing you can do to be 100% most successful with this is just adherence. Right, like if you're tracking the food every day, you're hitting the steps every day, the adherence is the only thing. Because if you adhere 100% and then you don't get the result, then that's my fault. Then it means my program doesn't do that. And that's why I structure the program the way I do. Is like if it's genuinely my fault, like that's on me, right? And it's like that's on you. So in terms of success, the best thing is just adherence. If you just do everything, then there's no really, because then from my perspective, if you're doing everything, if you're tracking the food to a T, if you're getting the steps to a T, when I give you that feedback to be the most successful, then technically in order to what is learning, like what is learning habits and skills? It's if I learn something, it means I have information and I act differently because of the information, right? Because if I have a math problem and I don't do it right, and then I learn how to do it, it means when I do the problem, I do it right. Like if I burn my hand, then I have learned not to put my hand on the stove, right? Because of that input has then created a different action. So when you think of learning, what is learning? It's like if it has to be a different, same conditions, different action. So we think of what makes, in terms of what makes us, a good client, it just means that you learn the most. So, and not necessarily learning, because learning is doing, right? Like as I say learning, like a lot of things like learning with application, learning is doing, because if you read a bunch of stuff and then you don't do anything else, that's not learning because you just haven't done anything differently. So for me, and that's why I get back to adherence, right? Because if you adhere the most, when I do the check-ins, I can give you the most feedback to change the inputs, right? Which means that if I give you feedback on what to change, and you have the same conditions, right? Eating, daily life, living, and you have different inputs, it means you have learned. So if you give yourself the most opportunities to learn, aka record the most, do the most, like ask the most questions, you get the most opportunity to learn and change your behavior. And that's what you're here for, is to change your behavior on how you act every day to make those actions result in you being in shape and fit. So that's like the most success. It's going to boil down to, it's like you can have the little tips and hacks, right? Like, but really what the best clients do is they want to get the result and they learn and they take the advice and they apply it. So like every check-in, okay, I think you should do this. And they do it and they change it, right? Because after 6 months of me giving you inputs, there should be no more advice left for me to give you, because everything I've told you, you should have implemented it, right? And the system itself is super simple. It's like the 2 days, it's like in terms of actual things that make people unsuccessful is like time, food, like I don't know what to eat, I don't know what to do at the gym, but like after 6 months of doing it and taking your current things and changing it and taking feedback, then I shouldn't have any more feedback to give you. Like a lot of times, my best clients, right, what my check-in sounds like with them is, oh, great job, awesome job, yeah, honestly, keep doing what you're doing. Like I don't have any feedback to give you. My tip for the day is keep doing exactly what you're doing a great job. Like that's what the best clients get, because the feedback and the instructions, they just do, right? And if you're doing the instructions, then in terms of the calories, the protein, again, you're gonna get the result. So to be the best, it's like, how do I adhere the most? And that's what in terms of the best people is like they adhere and they adhere in terms of they give me more opportunities to coach them, which means they track harder, they never miss, because if I don't have any data, then I can't change your actions via telling you how to make an input to create different data. So in order for me to help you the best, for you to be the most successful, then you must give me the most data to coach you, but then because of that coaching, you must learn, which means your actions must change as a result of the coaching. And that's what creates the best clients, is you have to do something different with the information. Because if you say, let's say you're like, I want to get in shape, and then you know exactly how to get in shape, and then you don't get in shape, and then it means you haven't learned anything. It means like your actions haven't changed. So my ultimate goal is to get your actions to change, which is why I'm so big on inputs and application versus the theory stuff. Because if I would have a course that I sold people on, like you could get a college level exercise science education right now. You could buy all the textbooks that I have, you could go get a degree right now in exercise science, but you don't. It's not about all the information. It's what the information can you do, apply and change the behavior consistently. And that's really what makes the best, is like you just change your behavior, right? And that behavior results in the fitness outcome that you want. And that's for me, like that's the tip in terms of, it's like, how can you create more opportunities to adhere, aka track harder to do that, and then when I give feedback, how can I take that feedback and actually do it? And a lot of times it doesn't come from I'm gonna just do it. It comes from like, okay, what can I do to make sure I never miss, right? That's a better question. I always say, what makes them most successful? In terms of saying, what do I do? How can I just implement systems in my life to ensure that I never miss? How can I make sure I do this? How can I make sure I never miss this? So with like my calories, how do I make sure what can I do to make sure I never miss my calories? What can I do in my day to make sure I literally never don't hit my protein? How can I structure my setup and my environment to make sure that I never don't get my workout? How can I never miss my steps? And that is the biggest thing, is like, how can you create a system to make sure you always adhere? And that's why I say it has to work into your life. Your life should be like I'm not saying your life should be like, it's not my life advice. I'm saying for me, the way that I do fitness is it's a flow. Like I have a flow. Like I know, especially now I have my own place, like all the food here is healthy. It's just like completely like, it's like chicken, Greek yogurt. Like I can't, if I wanted to eat unhealthy, I'd have to go out and find it. So I can't, right? And that's it. I could not hit my fitness goals if I wanted to. Because by the time I would try to overeat this healthy food, I literally wouldn't be able to because it's too much food. So I couldn't eat unhealthy if I wanted to. If getting my steps in, like even with my diet, I can't get off my goals. But with my steps, it's like, I notice I'm just gonna park somewhere. Every time I drive somewhere, I just park farther away. So I'm gonna get my steps in, right? And I'm gonna take a walk or something. It's super easy. So that's where when it comes to the most successful, it's like they just find a way to adhere at all costs. Does that make sense, everyone? Cool. I know that was your question, Howard. Does that make sense? Okay. Cool. Awesome. Okay. So next we'll be, I'm going to talk about filling food. So like I'm going to end off with just like filling food. So like we have a couple more minutes here. So filling foods wise, like the most filling foods in terms of like what can I eat to like make sure that like and here's the thing. What can I eat? And this is like to make sure the food stays in my system the longest, right? Because that's what a filling food is. It stays in your system. So when we talk about metabolism, the reason those food like certain foods increase metabolism is just because they take longer to digest, and that's why they take longer to digest. Your body has to work to digest them, aka they stay in your system longer, and that's why the foods that affect metabolism are healthy foods, and that's why healthy foods help you lose weight, because you keep you full. Why? Because they just stay in your digestive tract longer. And that's it. So the most filling weight loss food would be something that fills you up completely, you don't want any more, satisfies all your cravings, and stays in your system all day, right? Because then you could eat it, you wouldn't gain any calories, you wouldn't want anything else, and you would never, like you'd be super full. So when we think of a filling food, it just needs to stay in your system, and a lot of times it just needs to hit the marks in terms of what you want. So filling foods, right, in terms of just filling, it's just going to be things that stay in your system longer, but from a fitness perspective, they need to stay in your system longer and not overdo the calories, right? Because they stay in your system, they keep you full, but they have low enough calories where you don't overeat, right? Because yeah, it's like keep you full is like eat anything I want, but it has to be a combination of being full but not overeating. So what foods are those? Going to be meats. Any types of meats, like lean meats are so filling. You eat a pound of 93.7 ground beef, it hits the mark, right? In terms of it's a lot of food, like it's a pound of meat. It's got protein, which is going to keep you satisfied and full. You're not going to be craving it, right? It's going to help you with muscle growth and everything. It's got fat, which is another, like, it's got fat in it, which slows digestion, right? Fat slows digestion. So that's going to keep it going. Anything with, healthy fats. So fats slow digestion. So if you would have like rice, like that's why balanced meals work. Because if you have a big, healthy, balanced meals, it's got complex carbohydrates, which are another one that's going to keep you full because it's slow digesting carbohydrates. You combine it with a healthy fat, it's going to slow digestion even more. Then you combine it with protein, which is even more slow digesting, and it's going to help keep you more full. So all these foods, it's like you combine a nice, healthy, balanced meal. It hits all your nutritional bases, carbs, proteins, fats, and it's high volume, which means it's lots of food. And then it's foods that digest slowly, which means they're all going to go together to digest super slow, keep you full, slow release nutrients into your body to keep you going. And that's why like balanced, healthy meals work, because that's what they do. Complex carbohydrates are good. So like oatmeal, white potatoes are the most satiating food, the most filling food there is. So white potatoes are number one. So like complex carbohydrates like potatoes, sweet potatoes, oatmeal. It's one called couscous, which is like a pasta type thing. Quinoa is great. It's got protein too. Quinoa is one of the only complete plant protein sources. So quinoa, I buy. It's really good. Fiber. So fiber, again, we talked about fiber a couple weeks ago. It's a carbohydrate. It's a complex carbohydrate. So fiber is an indigestible, insoluble. It doesn't digest. So fiber in foods, you don't absorb the calories, but it's a carbohydrate that's slow digesting. Your body can't absorb it. It stays in your system. So if we think of how can we create a filling meal, it's going to be protein, healthy fats, complex carbohydrates. So when you look at a traditional healthy meal, that's how it's going to be. So fats, complex carbohydrates, and protein sources are going to be the things that keep you full and satiated and not healthy, but going. And then they're also going to support your fitness goals. So it's like they keep you full because they're slow digesting, but they also are good because what's in those foods, the nutrients, the proteins, the carbs, fats, they slowly digest and they slowly absorb into your body to fuel the processes you want, which is muscle growth, and then lack of food is fat loss. So because they are filling, they allow you to not eat as much, which aka that's the fat loss that you want. So yeah, those are some healthy fats like avocados, eggs, whole milks like fats and dairy, proteins, lean meats, egg whites, things like beef jerky, protein shake. Protein shakes aren't as filling because they digest quick, but quinoa is a great slow digesting whole food protein. Greek yogurt is a great one. Cottage cheese, non-fat Greek yogurt, great. What else? Complex carbohydrates, oatmeals, potatoes, sweet potatoes, yes. Things like that are great. And then fiber. Fibrous foods. Blackberries, like fruits, vegetables, super high. Blackberries are one of the highest fiber foods. So if you had something like Greek yogurt with blackberries and a little bit of like powdered peanut butter and then maybe like an avocado or like some eggs, that would be a super filling. That's why they put like chia seeds in yogurt, because they're fibrous and they have healthy fats. That's why they do that. So they make you super full. That's yes sir. Any questions about like filling foods, fibrous food, things like that, things you can do to make your foods more filling? Okay, well, that is kind of everything that I had. That was just like the topics that I had. So that was a quick little, and it's 11. I don't want to keep everyone over. But if there's no other questions, that's kind of all I have. So you guys can peace out. If you have any questions, I got check-ins, so I'm gonna try to get everyone's check-ins done. I'll probably end up doing them tomorrow morning, like as soon as I wake up, because I'm finishing moving into my place. So I'm just gonna get everyone's check-ins in and bang them all out probably tomorrow morning. Do you guys like the looms, right? Like I like doing the looms. What are your guys' thoughts on the voice notes and the looms? I'm gonna do them, by the way, through text in the future because trainer eyes, like people didn't see them, so I'm just gonna be texting them to you. Just as I was like messing with that, so I'm gonna be texting the looms in the voice notes. Is there anything with the check-ins you guys would want to see differently? Okay, no worries, man, no worries. Cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, awesome. Yeah. I'm gonna keep it iMessage voice check-ins Tuesday, Thursday, and that this way. On Tuesday, I can review. Then this is why I like right now with the Saturday. Like everyone is a Saturday check-in right now. As more people come, it'll be like a Friday or whatever. So I like keeping the check-ins right now on the weekends, but eventually it'll probably be one video. But I like it because it gives you 2 days of check-in and then 1 day and then another check-in, so I can review as the week goes, and then the week can be like a total review of like progress. So good there. Yeah, that's kind of all I have. So if nobody has any questions, you guys can head out. I appreciate everybody, and good call, guys. Hey, I'll see y'all. Bye. Thank you. Hey, see you guys. I don't know if you're still here, Eric, but oh yeah. Hey, I'll see ya. Yeah.